The mission is to bring truth, hope, and deliverance to the nations. I'm also the founder of Hope Diamonds Ministries, where we're bringing deliverance to the bound, healing to the broken, and setting the captives free.
As God continues to pour out to you, your mindset and your spirit man has to be ready to receive.
I'm also the author of The Making of a Diamond, my personal journey, where I share about my life and also will share some principles to help you along your own journey.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I'm so excited tonight. I tell you, this is just a great moment that I'm excited to share with you and share with one of my best friends, my sister. I just love her. I'm so glad that she can come on tonight and take part of this broadcast. And I'm just excited tonight about the book launching. It is January. It is official. We want to welcome you, Shanovia, tonight. Welcome. And I want you guys, as you come on tonight, if you could just like the video and share the video. Share the video so other people can get an opportunity to be able to watch tonight, to be able to view the video and be able to take part in what's going on tonight, which is just really exciting. Tonight is official January, where I will be officially launching my book. So this is my first book launching. I have a couple of more, and I'm just excited to share this moment with all of you. I thank everyone who's purchased the book so far. I thank everyone who has supported. I thank everyone who has liked, who has shared, who has just given me a phone call just to say congratulations. I really appreciate that. I'm really grateful, and I'm definitely humble about the support that I have received during this time. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to just delay. I want to go ahead and introduce my special guest tonight. She's a wonderful woman of God. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a business owner. She's elite management at her job. She's just doing all types of things. She is a woman of God, a powerful woman of God, who is also an author as well. And has her book as well about her own life and her testimony and some things that she has had to go through. And so without further ado, I just want to welcome my guest on, everybody. If you can show her some love, this is Shanovia Jordan.
Hi.
And we are excited to have her on. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot to say. My little me. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
How are you doing tonight?
You know what? I'm good. I literally just put my babies down, and so we just been busy, just taking care of the husband. He's been a little sick, and so just really taking care of the kids in the house right now for a couple of days. So just doing some business stuff, really enjoying that aspect of it. So it's been good. It's been good. I've really been enjoying this time with the family. So
so that's good. That's good. That's family number one.
Family come first. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
It's been good. Yeah, and just working on my boutique with Abigail's. That's been something new since we started that 3 months ago. So that's been good. So really been enjoying that. And then later, just really gotta be working on the book too later. Some ministry stuff, little bit stuff here and there. So we'll see what 2021 has.
Let me tell you guys.
God like to throw things at you,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'll tell you guys about this girl of mine, this friend of mine, this sister of mine. She is busy. She's busy, but she's productive and she's doing things that matter. And so I thank God for your drive. I thank God for your tenacity, your consistency, your drive, your will to never give up, no matter what you face, no matter what you've gone through, no matter whatever tears you had to cry, no matter the frustration that you had to go through. You've always kept it pressing. You always keep it moving. You always are optimistic, so I really appreciate you, because she's definitely been an encouragement to me. She's definitely been one of those friends that be like, okay, now what's going on, with let's keep it moving, And so I
Right.
really appreciate that about her. And I thank God for our friendship, our sisterhood, and all the things that we've done in ministry together, which has been really great. I welcome you all to the broadcast tonight. We're just going to talk a little bit. This is a party, party, party. So I need all of you
Yes.
to get excited. This is a party regarding my book launch of The Making of a Diamond, my personal journey. And I'm just excited about it tonight. And I want you all to come on with that same excitement, that same, energy. Come on with that good energy on here tonight. And so, again, this is the month that we will be going forth with the book. I'm going to go ahead and post some information on the bottom. If you want to go ahead and pre-order your book, it'll be scrolling at the bottom. Also, you can pre-order your t-shirt. I'm wearing my t-shirt. My sister hasn't received her t-shirt. She hasn't gotten it, but I have my t-shirt on tonight. But what she is wearing is she's wearing an exclusive piece from the Abigail's Boutique that she operates and she owns. And so we're going to promote that tonight before we get off tonight. If you guys are looking for some nice clothes, looking for some stylish things, looking for something that you can look good in, you need to connect to Abigail's. And so I'll give you that information for you all tonight before we get off the live broadcast tonight. And so, we're here. We just want to talk a little bit about the book. And I just want to hear about just a little bit about how you feel about your diamond journey. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about the process. In my book, I wrote a chapter about it's the process, and I call it the process / the cutting. And so tell us a little bit about how you feel and how you view, the process that you've had to go through on your own journey in relation to the book that I've written about, The Making of a Diamond, my personal journey, which can be your personal journey and many others' personal journeys. So tell me a little bit about how you feel about the process.
The process is something that I think I've talked about this for many, many years, being in ministry and as a prophet. There are a lot of things that you go through in life as a process. As you very well know in your own process, for me, listen, you guys, I talk fast. I get excited. I'm excited about God. I'm excited about the book. I'm excited about what Prophetess Hope is doing. So forgive me if I tend to talk fast because I love God and I love God's people and I want to pour into you as God gives it to me. So I'm gonna try to talk slow so I can so I want to give tonight is about, I want to be able to drop some jewels and I want to be able to live. Can you guys hear me? I think it's great.
Are you
I will be able to take something from this broadcast, some jewels, and apply it to life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it was from my end or your end, but there was like a little distortion in when you were talking.
Yeah, I think it's happening. It was doing the same. So I'm not really sure what that is. Should we log out and log back in, or should we just keep going?
You can, if you want to, you can log back out and log back in. Maybe that'll help. And I'll just keep moving till you come back on. Okay.
Can you hear me? Am I breaking them now? Okay.
Yeah, but it's still breaking.
One of the things that I'm still breaking up. So I'll try to log back in. See if that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fine.
I can do that.
Okay. All right, everybody. Just a small technical difficulty, but that's okay. She'll be back in a moment. Just going to let her log back in. But until that point, we're going to begin to talk about the process. She's going to just give some from her experience, and then we're going to talk about why it's important that, you get the book. It's important that you understand and embrace your own process and the things that you've gone through. And so the reason why I'm having her on tonight is because I want her to talk about her process and what she's learned and what she's had to embrace in correlation to my book as well of the the process and going through the process, because we understand that for everybody, the process is different. Everybody endures something different. Everybody experiences are different in their process. And so tonight we just want to share about that. We want to share about this new book. We want to thank you all so much for joining. Again, if you come on, go ahead and like the video and share the video so that many others can hear and take part of this time as we're in a celebration mode tonight about the making of a diamond, my personal journey. And so I want you to think about your own personal journey and your own personal process that you have had to endure during your time, during your life, and just take a moment to just reflect upon it. Because I realized in the process, everything wasn't bad. Everything wasn't negative. Some things were just necessary. They were necessary. And so she's coming back on. I'm going to go ahead and add her. All right, you're back on. All right.
Hi, is it clear?
Yeah, it's still breaking up.
Let me try to just do it from. I'm doing it from the.
Okay.
Let me just try to do it from my phone and see if that makes a difference.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so as she's going ahead, she's going to try a different device. We're going to keep moving on. And so wait for her to come back in and we'll add her back and hear everything that she would have to say and express tonight. And so it's important that you understand your process. And in my book, The Making of a Diamond, My Personal Journey, I talk about my process. And I want to be able to share that with you all. You can definitely purchase the book so you can see in-depth details regarding my process, regarding the things that I had to go through, regarding the steps that had to be taken, regarding just a lot of different things, a lot of different aspects of my life as my life was changing and evolving. Things were just different. There were moments of happiness. There was moments of sadness. There was moments of tears. There was moments of realness where I had to keep it real with myself about my condition and what condition that I was in. And that's one of the most important things about the process is keeping it real with yourself, being real with yourself, owning it yourself. So I had to recognize and understand that I was, in a place where I had to recognize where I was, took accountability for it, and then take the proper steps and the things necessary to move forward. Give me one moment. Okay, I think she's coming back in. All right. All right. So phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's breaking up. But it's still breaking up on your end.
No, now it sounds clear. Keep talking. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish saying what you were about to say. I don't think it sounds
clear.
Yeah. You're fine now.
Okay. All right. So one of the things now. Okay. So in the process, one of the things that I want to talk about is, we oftentimes, I wanted to kind of start off by talking about her book first. It's so important that we utilize tools in order sometimes to get through life. Somebody posted the other day. They were saying about, they were talking about therapy and Black people not utilizing things and different things like that. And I think I shared it. But I think Hope's book is one of the things that you guys need to pick up, because in life we go through things. We don't necessarily have the tools sometimes to take those things and apply them to life. Sometimes we just try to carry things and do things on our own. Taking the tools like a book to read to apply it to our lives. We just kind of want to. We say all the time, we use it so loosely. We even said it many times. We're just gonna pray about it. But even in the Bible, even in the Word, it says, faith without works is dead. And so you have to be able to take tools that God has given people who, like Prophetess Hope, He's given her the wisdom and knowledge to take this book to another level in order to give it to somebody as a tool, as a resource, in order to help you through your current past situations. And I'm going to say, it can be your current as well as your past situations, simply because. Okay. simply because when you're going through some things, it's just when we take a tool, we take bullets, we take jewels, and we apply them to our everyday life, we're able to apply them. We're able to help us to go through the process. Because in the process, sometimes we don't necessarily know step by step. So we say, our parents say, ministers say, we all say, God is going to lead us. He's going to lead us and guide us in our every step. But in that process, he's giving you jewels along the way, whether it be from Prophet Soul's book, whether it be from a broadcast, whether it be from a speaking engagement, um, different things she's given that she has been given along the way that are bullets that is going to help us in our process, whether it be our current. Now I'm gonna back up because I was saying current, but also in our past. Because what happens is when we go through life in the process, we tend to forget about things in our past. Some of us bury those things, but
Mhm.
sometimes, ironically, you have to pick those things up in order to apply them to your everyday life. And what I mean by that is sometimes we go through things and we try to bury it like it never happened instead of facing those things that we have gone through. Um, or either trying to, I got something coming up on my screen, or either I had something just come up on my screen also. And when we take those things and we try to basically, like your book, if we're taking a tool, something from your book, like from your chapter of saying the process, and we learn about something that we had in our past life, that has been affecting our current situation.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I guess some of us are in relationships, we're in marriages, where we've gone through things in our life that will
Mhm.
affect our current.
Mhm. Uh-oh. I think we lost her connection. Is lost. I'm sorry about that, guys. She'll be back on in a moment. Unfortunately, I do apologize. The connection is a little off, but we'll continue to press forward and move forward tonight. As she was saying about the process and tools and the things that have been provided for us to be able to go through the process. And so my book is a part of a tool that, about my own personal journey, about my own personal process that you can use as a tool to be able to help you along your own journey by hearing about my journey. As I share about my journey, my prayer is that it helps you along in your journey, that I can say something in this book, that I've written something in this book that will basically help you to understand more about your journey and the implications of why you're going through what you're going through sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and add her back in. I just kept going forth. I think it just dropped you off. It just dropped you. Just you were talking, it just dropped you off. I'm sorry about that, but we're gonna keep pushing on. We're still gonna be encouraged tonight. Still gonna be edified. So you can go ahead and finish where you left off. I was just telling those who are listening that, the process and about, like you were speaking about the tools and how important tools are to be able to help us, to be able to edify us, to be able to encourage us to move forward. And so I was just, piggybacking on what you were saying about different tools to be able to help us along our process.
Okay, it's breaking up really, really, really bad.
Okay.
You hear me?
Okay, she's gone back off. I don't know if it's gonna be. I think it might be her internet connection, but we'll keep pressing. Again, I thank you all so much for joining on tonight. And we're talking about the process. We're talking about my new book, The Making of a Diamond. It is scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. You can pre-order your copy. You can also pre-order a shirt. You can order your shirt at my website, www.hopediamondsministries.org. I'll be excited, and I'm excited to give you and send you an autographed a copy of the book. I'm so excited about it. And so we're just going to keep pressing forward. Again, like we were talking about, the process, the things, the tools that God provides us along the way for us to continue to press forward and continue to move forward. And so for me, when I was going through my process, it was kind of what I would say at first kind of a lonely journey. And then later on, when I was ready, I was able to get the tools that I needed. And to be honest with you, my journey still continues. My journey still continues where I'm still utilizing tools, still being blessed by people that are pouring into my life to help me along my own journey so that I can really operate and really flow at the full capacity that God has called me to flow, that God has called me to flow in, and that I will be able to move in everything that God has called me to do, that my treasure on the inside of me is unlocked. And part of my process was step one. Step one was I didn't know I was a diamond. I didn't understand anything about a diamond, and not just a self-worth thing like, oh, I know my worth, or I understand that, but I'm saying understanding the worth of what God has placed inside of me, not compared to what the world would say about me, but what God is saying about me. What did God say to me? And so on my process, on my journey, I had to get a full understanding and a full revelation about what God had called me to do and who I was. And I didn't understand that I was a diamond. But I tell you one thing, when God found me, he found me in a rough place. He found me in a lonely place. He found me in a place where I felt abandoned. I felt alone. I felt rejected. But I tell you one thing, and through my process and through those times of me going through the process, and as I continue to go on even today, God is still, he's still pulling on me. He's still pressing me. He's still wanting me to continue to expand, to continue to go higher, to continue to go deeper in my process and in my journey. And so this is what this book is all about. It doesn't just tell you about my life and what I've gone through. I tell you about things that help me to get through my process. I tell you about things that help me to get through my cutting. I tell you about things that help me to get through my digging and everything that I had to endure to dig and dig deep for me, dig deep for my purpose, dig deep to find out who I was, dig deep on my self-discovery of myself and what I was called to be, and to understand that God placed me here and God has placed all of us here for a purpose and a plan. But at a particular moment in time in my life, I was lost. I was lost. I was on a road of destruction, and I was completely lost. I had dreams and aspirations when I was a younger girl, and I had lost those things along the journey because of some of the decisions and some of the things that I became involved with. Those things just blew away in the wind, like a leaf blows away in the wind. It just blew away, and I wasn't connected anymore to my purpose. But my processing, it allowed God to. I was being able to be realigned back into what I was supposed to do. It was like an unveiling, an uncovering of who I was called to be and what I'm called to do. Not just to impact, not just to impact the myself and my life, but how in my book, and I speak about it in my book, how are you taking your diamond journey to make sure that it's impacting the lives of others? How is your journey being able to impact and change the lives of the people that you have come in contact? How is your testimony being able to help someone who's lost hope, who's lost faith, to be able to use your testimony to say, I've been where you were, and I understand how it feels to lose hope. I understand how it feels to want to give up. I understand how it feels to not want to wake up and just want to take yourself out. I understand how all that feels. And so when you tell that to people in your personal testimony, how is your life being affecting other people around you and the people that you come into contact with in a positive way? Are you going to take everything, the negative things, and just sit on those things and just say, this is what I went through, and just be a victim? Or are you going to take the place of being a victor? Are you going to take the place of being an overcomer, where you can say, I overcame this. This is my testimony. This is how I overcame. Let me share with you how I overcame, so that it may be able to help you, and it may be able to help those that you come in contact with, so that it can impact their lives for change. Glad to have you back on. I know we're having some difficulties in pressing past, the difficulties. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. The link just keeps going out for some reason. It says something to make me. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if talking makes it worse on my end. I don't know, but but it's all good.
Yeah.
It happens.
We're not gonna let that put a damper on what is going forth tonight. We're still rejoicing, we're still celebrating, we're still praising God for my journey. I'm praising God for your journey and everything that you have had to go through and how it has impacted others in a positive way. And how your life, your testimony, the things that you've gone through, how it has impacted those who are around you, how it has shown people that who may have lost hope, who don't even know they're a diamond. Like I was just telling everybody, listen, I didn't know I was a diamond. I was just I was just running
Right.
around just wow. I didn't know what was going on. I just did what I wanted
With
to do.
all the gifts inside.
You're right. I didn't care. I didn't think about how it affected other people's lives. And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let you speak. There was a time where there was a revelation that happened. I was in a lot of heat and got in some trouble. And um I didn't realize how my bad decisions was affecting like my family, like my mother and people who love me and people who, just didn't, they didn't want to see this going on with me. And so one day my mother, she just started crying. And that day was like, I cannot
Mhm.
keep doing this. That day I got a revelation of how I was hurting somebody who loved me, who birthed me, who raised me, who did the best that she could with me. And I seen her hurting, which she didn't show a lot of hurt all the time, a lot of crying, but that time she cried and it really broke me and it touched me. And I'm just saying this to say this to all of you. You never know how your actions and your decisions affect people who love you, how much it may hurt them, and so when I seen that in my mind shifted. I said, I cannot keep doing this because I don't ever want to see her crying like that because of something that I've done and that I knew better. Some things I did, I knew better. I just want to do what I wanted to do. I had people warning me, people talking to me. I didn't want to hear it. I had people say, well, why don't you come? I don't want to hear nothing about going to church. I didn't want to hear nothing about God. I didn't. I'm
Right.
just being honest. I just want to do what I wanted to do. I'm not going to lie. At times it felt good to be able to do what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, it was destruction. At the end of the day, I had to pay. At the end of the day, my decisions
Yep.
rendered years and years of turmoil and years of devastation that I had to face because of decisions that I chose to make.
Mhm.
You know?
Right. Right. But you know what, Prophet is that's how it is though. And I've heard a lot of people use that comment where they say they're thinking that their decision does not affect anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a mother, whether it be the dad, but it does affect them. Whether a mom or dad is in the life of the child, you're affected in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So your decision affects everybody around you.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to what you were saying, in relation to that is a part of the process that we don't want to see. We don't want to think about how we have affected everybody else in our life.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually why sometimes you go back and pick up those things that you have experienced and say, you know what? Let me pick up those things. Let me be now wise. Let me be wise now and make better decisions so I can affect my family in a different perspective or my friends. And I say that because, one of the things you talked about in relation to me, or some of the things that I have experienced, I allowed myself to go through an abusive relationship because I didn't understand my own worth.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a household where I had, a single parent household. My mom was single. I didn't have the absence of her dad, but I did not understand that growing up until I started counseling, and then I began to pull up the root. So that's the thing. When we go back, we have to go back to the root of that problem, which is what you're doing now. That's what you're doing in the book right now. You're going back to the root of the problem, and you're saying, you know what? I'm being obedient to what God is telling me to do now. And I'm trying to keep somebody else from making the same mistakes that I made. So let me put this, let me let everybody know right now how they are diamond. Because in that process of that diamond being burned, being scarred, going through the things that I have experienced, and like you said, I didn't know who I was. But you're trying to keep somebody else from making the same mistakes that you made in your past. And listen, I'm so excited about reading this book. Listen, I got chills because I know a part of it, but I don't even know all of it. So I'm excited about what God is doing through this book. I'm excited about what jewels I'm going to pick up and how you're going to release this to the nation, to where somebody who is going through something without telling, because I'm going to say something, without going through some of the things that they don't have to go through. It's like putting a stop, putting a stop sign and saying, a warning sign, same thing they have on a pack of cigarettes that says warning, this could give you cancer, but you still smoke it. Come on, somebody. God is giving you a warning. They said, I want you to understand your self-worth. So you don't have to go through the things that Prophetess Hope went through. You don't have to go through the same things that Shinobi went through. Because if we had listened, we listen now. I mean, we're older and we're mature and we're wiser. But some of the things, and I will say this, some of the things, because you're a prophet, because I'm a prophet, some of the things God will allow you to go through. And there's some things that we choose on our own because we have permissive will. And that's a whole other subject. But we'll say, in this book, reason why it's so important for you to read it. That's the reason why it's so important that every time she comes on that you're on and you're listening. Because it's a little bit of it's jewels that she's dropping every single time that is so important. And just going back, and I would say in the process of mine, many people, she showed you a little bit about me, but I'll tell you this, growing up, I grew up with a single parent. My dad, love my parents, and I love my family. Let me put it as a disclaimer, but there are things that I experienced and things that I had gone through that was the process that got me to where I am now. That gave me a little bit of wisdom that I share with people. No matter where I go, I can be in the middle of Walmart, and if the Holy Spirit leads me to talk to them, it's because God allowed me to go through some things. He allowed me to grow up for a purpose, for a call that God had on my life, and it could be the same thing for you. God has a purpose. God has a plan for your life, just like He do for us, just like He do for many people that is on this call right now. You don't know it because you don't understand your work. You don't understand the carrot. You don't understand the weight. You don't understand the clarity. You don't understand the process of what you have to go through to get to where you are. But God is telling you, and this is your warning sign. This is your label right now that says, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to listen. I'm going to make better decisions because I don't want to have to go through this. And you know what this is. We may not be calling it out right now. That's your warning. This is your warning. God is sounding the alarm that is telling you, stop it. Listen. Listen to the jewels that are being dropped. And this may very well be the book for you that says, you know what? I don't know everything about this, but I may need to go back and listen to some of these broadcasts. I may need to make sure I go ahead and pre-order for this book because there is something about the anointing. There's something about this woman of God that I know that she has experienced something, and she has experienced her whole life. So I'm telling you, the jewels that are being dropped in this book, baby, I can guarantee you that's something that you can relate to. Something that you can share with your family, your friends, passing it along because it's so important. And I know we're just chatting, but honey, we can preach this thing. Do you understand me? We can preach this thing.
That's the preacher side.
Going back, one of the things I grew up in a single parent household, with my parents. I love them, of course, I got to see both of them. But there were some things that affected me along the way that caused me to make bad decisions as I grew up. And I went into an abusive relationship, and that abusive relationship almost died. And I do have a book, Seconds Away from Death, But God, that I talk about, and we minister and we talk about all these kind of things. And the relationship, it stemmed from me not understanding my worth and the process that I went through. But if I had the tools and the resources and somebody give me the direction in which Prophetess Hope is giving you guys right now, there's some things that I didn't have to experience. In that I was in college. I almost flunked out of college when I was in my social degree. I did not graduate at the time that I was supposed to graduate. I failed the test before I was supposed to graduate. I found out on a Sunday that I was graduating on a Thursday, and I was not able to walk or graduate because of all the things that I was experiencing and going through. I had my parents at the same time. I had and I was being beat up every single day, going to school with shades and trying to hide black eyes, and trying to pick myself up and continue to press and keep going. But one of the things that I learned in that process, no matter what I went through, no matter how much he beat me or he told me, that I was worth nothing at all, and I lost all of my self-esteem and my self-confidence in the process, I still went to class, shades on. I still pressed through because I learned that I still had something on the inside of me that said, I don't care. I know I'm a value. I know my character. I know my clarity. I know my worth in that. Now, I may not have known all of it enough to not be with him or not to accept some of the things that he had done to me. But it was at one moment, where he had beat me for the last time, and I said, God, I said, if he don't kill me, I said, allow him. I said, I just need it. It was so stupid thinking about it, but I said, God, I said, if he just beat me one more time, that'll give me the strength just to get up out of here. And I thought about it, but that is some. In the world say that, but it was like I was tired. I was tired of being tired. I didn't know which way to go, and sometimes we go through things like that, and we're like, well, dang, I can't talk to nobody, I can't call nobody, and you're silly and not really knowing what to do in the process because of the wisdom, because of the lack of knowledge, because not really understanding your process of your worth and who you are. And you accept these things, and you look back and you're like, oh my God, I was so foolish. But that's what she's trying to prevent, saying that.
Yeah,
Dang, what did I see in my
yeah.
Yeah,
And you had mentioned understanding your worth, and some people hear that they're like, oh, but I'm gonna say something. When I was a child, and some things will diminish the worth. My father used to call me dumb, stupid, ugly, things like that. And what happened is I didn't realize that as I continued on in life, I began to take on that perception that kept being spoken to me about dumb or you're stupid or whatever mean things that he would say, and that I took those things on. It affected my life. It affected my decisions. It affected what I thought about myself, was because the person that was supposed to love me and care for me, and I love my father, and I love him to this day, God rest his soul, and I love him. But some of the things, were just, and so what happened is that in that, when somebody that you trust, who's supposed to pour into you and love you and help you to flourish and help you to grow, that they use those things happen and say those things, you take those things on. And especially when you're young, and I was very young, very young girl, and so those things affected my life, and I didn't understand the revelation of how much it affected my life until I became an adult, and I was already damaged and already doing crazy stuff. And then I came to the realization, like, in my process, when I was going through my process, I had to process all of that. And that's when I begin to understand, okay, now I'm getting to the root of it. This is the root. This is where it started from. And this is what needs to be uprooted so that I can continue to unveil and unearth who I am called to be and what God has called me to do.
Right.
And so it was some moments. It wasn't any moments of anger or anything like that. It was just like a realization, okay, this is what happened. This is what needs to be rooted out. This is what needs to be taken and ripped away. And so, in that process, and I'm just saying this to encourage people who are listening, people who have been through, people who can understand and relate to what I am saying, going through life and things happening. And as your development and as you're going forth, like yourself, you said you didn't understand, you didn't know. And when you don't understand, sometimes we allow things to happen. Sometimes we make decisions that are not good, where we had to pay for years and years. And I tell you, my process, maybe everybody's process is different. I will just say that my process was a lengthy process, okay? Lengthy and a lot of emotion, a lot of this realization. But in all of that, God, a diamond was birthed, like I said, through the pressure, through the heat. A diamond was born. So everything that I've gone through, nothing was wasted. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was left aside. Everything that I had gone through, God used it to cultivate and make me and shape me. And so I am here tonight, and she's here tonight. Like she said, you don't have to make those same decisions. Things can change, things can be different. And so and sometimes, like I said, my testimony, my journey, what I had to go through, what you've had to go through, what many others have had to go through, is a way of, like you said the warning signs. So for me, there were warning signs. Okay, I seen warning signs. It was like, stop. People saying, what are you doing? What's going on? Stop. It was like big warning signs. And it was just like, I was so bent on just doing my own will and what I wanted to do, that I didn't pay attention to the warnings. And so I want to tell you tonight to pay attention to the warnings, because what happened to me is, because I didn't pay attention to the warnings, I endured a lot of extra things that I didn't have to endure. I had to go through a lot of turmoil and trials and tribulations. I had to go through a lot of unnecessary things because I made a decision to not pay attention to the warning signs. And so The Making of a Diamond is a book to tell about my journey, and also to tell about the warning signs, as she said, that you don't have to stop. Pay attention to the warning signs if something's off, if something feels empty. And so what happened is, it was just years and years of not only that, from a parent, but also just being rejected from a child all the way. I mean, yeah, just so much just rejection. I mean, I can go on to tomorrow and talk about all the rejection that I've had to go through. But I will tell you this: one thing it helped me to understand is that I am accepted of God. I've been accepted of God, and God has approved me, and God has allowed me to go through this process to be able to birth the making of a diamond, to be able to birth my own journey, to be able to birth and tell you that you can make it no matter where you are, no matter what situation in your life you've been in. And also for those who have gone through journeys, who have come through hard parts of it, to just give you a time to just have a moment of reflection. In my book, I have moments where I just say, just to reflect on what you just read, so that you can take everything in and be able to reflect on it, and be able to reflect on your own journey,
Right.
and what you've been through, and what you've accomplished, what you've overcome, areas of weakness, areas of where you had to make some tough decisions, where you had to use some judgments, where you had to make some disconnections from different people. All that it comes together. And so I took a lot of time of reflection, and I do that now, where I just reflect on things and think about things to help my mind be able to understand, and then be able to allow my mind to move forward and change. Yeah, so
Prophetess O'Malley,
thank you.
if you could tell Prophetess Hope, or Hope, that was then, because she was always Prophetess. If you could tell Prophetess Hope back then something, what would you tell her? Like,
That's
what
a
would
good
you tell
question.
that innocent little girl? Have you ever thought about that?
I
Like, what
have.
would you tell that innocent little girl then? Because
Actually, I had recently seen I had a series of questions, and that was a question that did stick out to me. Um, what I would tell myself is um, um, to embrace who what I'm created to be. I allow the opinions of people, even at a young age. I allow the words that were spoken from class, when you're in school and all types of things like that. And I allowed the rejection to define me, and it allowed me to feel that I wasn't accepted. But if I can speak to, the little girl then, I would say that I'm accepted and that I'm loved and that I'm cared for. My mother showed consistent love, she was always there, even when I was terrible. And so, yeah, I was, yeah. So, the love, I would say, because when I didn't feel accepted, I started doing things. I joined gangs. I did all types of stuff because I wanted to be accepted, because I was dealing with this major rejection
right,
that I talk about. So I would speak to myself as a child and say, you are accepted, you are loved, you have a purpose, and you have a plan. No, and God has a plan, even as a young child. And I will say, even as a young child, I would say you had a connection with God. I would believe I would still hear from God, and even in my times of turmoil, even in my times where I was in very, very dark places where I just didn't see a way out. And so, because of deep rooted rejection, and so I would speak to that little girl and say, you are accepted, you are loved, you have a purpose. You were born here for a purpose and a plan. And that's what I would say, because if I would have really, really understood that as a child, I wouldn't allow some of the things to happen. I wouldn't allow myself to make certain decisions. I wouldn't allow the rejection to define me and who I was, and how I move forward. And when you feel rejected, you just want to be accepted. When you're rejected, you want to be accepted. So you're doing all types of different things to try to get acceptance and love from people, things that's missing. And so that's what I would tell the little girl, the little 8, 9 year old girl, um, you know, young girl. I would tell her that the little me, the younger me, the inner little girl me, that you are accepted. And when I say accepted, when God sent us here and reborn us and we're born into this world, God sent us here with a treasure. He sent us here with a purpose. And sometimes the world would try to snatch and take those things away. Sometimes the trials and tribulations would try to suck us out, suck us dry. The rejection was literally choking me out. And so if I would have understood it, and I know you say, well, how will a child understand that? It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing that I would tell the little inner me, you have a purpose. You were born to do something great. And if I really would have understood that, things would have been a lot different from me. But I didn't understand. I didn't get the revelation because I was dealing with rejection and wanting to be accepted and making all these decisions because I wanted people to accept me. I wanted people to love me. And so even though I have the love of mom and my brother and my sisters and things, it was just something that was still not there because of the relationship of my father. So that's what I would say to that little girl. I'll tell you something. One thing before I let you speak. When I was a child, I was very reserved. I'm an introvert. Okay, so as a child, I was very reserved. I was very shy, and I wouldn't talk much at all. And people thought I was weird. They would call me weird because we would have family events, and I'll be sitting somewhere by myself or just like disconnected. And it all came from a place of wanting to be accepted. And I felt shame of who I was, even as a child. And I would separate myself. Now I understand now I don't deal with that anymore. But I'm still reserved. I'm still an introvert. I still like enjoy time alone. But back then it was different. It was like a shame. I was shamed. I was wanting to be accepted. So I withdrew and I felt uncomfortable around people. And so yeah, that was a part of, what I had to go through. And guess they would call me a little weirdo, a weird child and things. So I thank God. I thank God for everything in my journey and that I've had to go through.
Which is really, really powerful. It's so powerful because oftentimes, like, that's where it starts at. It starts when you're really, really young. It's like somebody sows seeds, somewhere, some kid, some bully, some person, somebody think they're more privileged or whatever. They sowed those seeds. And then with those, and then we start to make those decisions. And I remember when I first met you, and you didn't know about, like, before I met you, I kind of like, I was looking at you, that probably was like the prophetic, the spirit recognize the spirit, right? But if I didn't look at you, I look at you, like, oh, she's so powerful. Like, she is so anointed. Oh my God, And I was like, boy, when you said something, it's like the room just would light up because you were the way God uses you. Now I know because we're so close, and in ministry and and everything else. It's like something about you, all those things that God allowed you to go through, was preparing you for a time such as this, for a time for you to take everything that He has out and the wisdom out of you in order for you to be able to continue to plant. So somebody thought that they were sowing a seed in order to kill you or to keep down your self-esteem and your self-confidence, not knowing that God was taking that for you to plant this to the nation. They don't know what they was doing. But you has given you the authority and the ability to plant seeds in the nation. And we may see there's a couple people on this broadcast, or whatever, we don't know where this broadcast goes, that somebody sees this. And there's a seed that's been planted on the inside of somebody that's killing the attack of the enemy. My God. And I thank God for you because you are taking what the enemy thought was going to kill you, and you are going and taking this school and planting this in other people. So I just, I know this, we're not, I just want to say the devil didn't win. The devil didn't win. And I'm just excited about that. The devil didn't win. And I'm excited that you have been obedient to what God is telling you to do. With this tool. And some child, somebody is being able to look at this and say, they're going to be able to read your book and say, I don't want to gangbang no more. I don't want to sell drugs no more. You know what? I'm not going to let this man not be across my head anymore. I'm not going to allow this because I myself. So person by person, soul by soul, you're saving somebody. And I just thank God for that, because the devil meant for bad, God is using it for his good. And I'm just grateful. Just grateful. Just grateful.
Oh, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate that, and I'm really humble. I'm really thankful. Like I said in a post, people see me smile. They don't know what I had to go through to smile. They don't know the trials and tribulations. They don't know the sickness that I had where I couldn't smile for months. And you remember that, where all my nerves were in my face, and so we're basically they're basically, dead. And I had to wait for these nerves to come back so I could smile, so I could blink my eyes, so I didn't have to drool, and my talking and speech was messed up. So I appreciate, and I am so thankful. And that's why I smile, because I appreciate the small things in life. I appreciate the little things, the simple things in life. And so I thank all of you tonight for joining me and my special guest, Shanovia Jordan, who's a wonderful woman of God. She's been a blessing in my life. She's an author of her own book, Seconds Away from Death, but God. And I thank God for her testimony. I thank God for your journey. I thank God for everything you've gone through and all that you have pressed through to be here tonight, to be here today, to be a living, walking testimony of the glory and power of God that has been released on the inside of you. And so I thank God for your ministry and everything that He's called you to do, the great things, the entrepreneurship. She can run a company, let me tell you. She's an administrator. She can do it. And I am so thankful for her and what she does. She runs other people's companies as well as her own. And so I wanted to mention your boutique with awesome clothes. She is wearing a shirt from her boutique, which I really like, and I think that I may be wanting to see if I can possibly get me one of those shirts. I like the style of it. She knows I like style, so that is wonderful. Her website is abigails.com, and that's ABIGZAILS.com. That is her website. Her name is Shanovia Jordan. Connect with her. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. She is humble. She loves Jesus. She loves to help people in every level, not just people in church, but she loves to help people. Okay, she has her own organization for cancer. I forgot what's the name of the organization for your cancer. Oh, The Voice for You. The Voice for You is her nonprofit organization. Yeah, the nonprofit organization that she has as well, in her book as well. And I'm just so excited and glad to see other, my brothers and sisters doing what they're supposed to do and that they're pushing forward. She is a beautiful, beautiful baby girl who's just that little girl. She's something else. She's growing up so quick, and she's a new mom. So I thank God for Miss Laura, who's a lady in her own right. And so I thank you all for coming on tonight. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this party tonight. It's a party. We don't want you to be sad. We want you to be glad. We want you to be glad about everything that you've had to endure, and celebrate the little moments. Do something special for yourself. Take a moment to reflect on your life and just be thankful. And we don't want to just complain, because there's so much that's going on, so much going on. We ought to be thankful for the life and the breath and the air that we breathe, and the things that God has allowed us to have, the things that are in our lives. And we may not be where we want to be totally. We may not have everything that we want to have, but one thing is for sure, God's grace has been upon all of us. And I thank you all for joining me tonight about my book, The Making of a Diamond. Again, this is the month. This month is the month. Order your copies. I thank everyone who has placed your order. I thank you. I'm so excited. Everyone who's placed their t-shirt order. Again, the information is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions or anything about any products, about my website, about anything, you can contact me. I'll be more than glad to help you and assist you to answer any of your questions. I just want to say, and again, thank Shanovia for coming on tonight. Is there any other last comments or anything else you would like to say to those who are viewing tonight?
I just want to say, just enjoy the process. It's in the process that God is doing something. Even in this, we have some technical difficulties, but we continue to press. So I just challenge each of you to continue to press through, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. Continue to press through, because God is doing something. Each of us is called to something. No matter what it is, big or small, it doesn't matter as long as we're doing God's work and continue to press through, continue to push, no matter what it
Right.
looks like, you are giving birth to something amazing. So just endure the process and don't allow anything or anybody to stop you. You mess up, you fail, okay, that's fine. Pick it up and try again. Believe me, it's failure that is greatness in your failure. So continue to press forward and endure the process because it's in the process where you're going to get your greatest wisdom in the process. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys learned something in this as we were trying to fight.
Okay, her connection is cut, unfortunately. I thank God for her coming on tonight. And I thank each and every one of you. Please remember at the bottom of the screen, there's the information to pre order your book. Official orders of books. My official birthing for my book is January 14th, which is my sister's birthday. And so I want to honor her in that way of releasing my book on that day. Also, I will be on next Monday with another special guest. And then finally, my third launch, which will be on January the 14th, which will be from the Renewal Center in Concord, North Carolina. I'll be at a different location. And I'm looking forward to for all of you joining because that's going to be, it's a really, really special day, a special moment for me. And I'm just excited. I'm excited about everything that God is doing for you. And I pray that you all be blessed, that you have a wonderful week, that you will continue to press on in your process, that you will continue to move forward in everything that God has called you to do, and that you would be encouraged, that you will be edified, that you will be lifted up, that your hope will be restored, your faith, you will continue to press on and keep moving toward everything that you have been put here to do. God bless you. You all have a wonderful night, a wonderful week. Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2021. Happy New Year's to all of you. I pray you have a wonderful year. Look for me next Monday at 7 p.m. with my next special guest. And you all have a great night. Bless you. Shalom.